Hi folks, Seth Leapson here. Thanks for watching my monologue. In these uncertain times, you may be thinking about personal protection. If you are, I urge you to visit my friends at Guns Etc. They'll help you find the perfect protection for yourself and your family, and they can even teach you how to use it. They've been protecting Arizonans for over 33 years, and they stand for the great principles this country was founded upon. Or you can just click on gunsetcetera.com. And if you like my monologues, please subscribe to 960 The Patriots YouTube channel. Welcome back, January 25th, 2021. We start today yielding to U.S. Senator Josh Hawley, who writes the following in the New York Post. I'll have some analysis on this in just a moment, but he writes, "Have you checked your social credit score lately? You might want to. Mine seems to have taken a nosedive this month. You might want to see how yours is doing. Everyone knows what a credit score is, but social credit scores are new. They're the latest corporate import from communist China, where government and big business monitor every citizen's social views and statements. And they're the latest form of cancel culture in this country, as corporate monopolies and the left team up to shut down speech they don't like and force the political agenda on America. For those who still believe in free speech and the First Amendment, this is the time to take a stand. Like the old-fashioned kind of credit score, your social credit requires a lot of maintenance. You'll need to get good grades in school and stay out of trouble with the law, but that's just the start. You have to earn your right to live in polite society these days. So if you want to get a good job, stay at hotels, and be served at restaurants, you will need to do a few other things. You will need to voice the right opinions. You will need to endorse the right ideas. You will need to conform. That's what the corporate chieftains tell us, anyway. They tried to reprimand me this month because I didn't. On behalf of the voters of my state, he says, I raised a challenge to the presidential electors from Pennsylvania after that state conducted the election in violation of the state constitution. Maybe you agree with me. Maybe you don't. But whatever your view, corporate America's rush to cancel those it dislikes should trouble you. In my case, started with leftist politicians demanding I resign from office for representing the views of my constituents and leading a democratic debate on the floor of the Senate. Taking that cue, a corporate publishing house then canceled a book it had asked me to write. Ironically enough, the book is about political censorship by the most powerful corporations in America. Now corporate America is canceling my political events because two parties are apparently one too many for their taste. It will get worse. The tech titans have already booted dozens of conservatives off social media, and if they have their way, half the House of Representatives conference will be expelled from Congress. The corporate titans seem to believe that the only way to get a democracy to their liking is to eliminate all threats to the Democratic Party's unified control of government. The alliance of leftists and woke capitalists hopes to regulate the innermost thoughts of every American, from school age to retirement. And they've trained enforcers of the woke orthodoxy to monitor dissent or misbehavior. A Karen who cuts the wrong person off in traffic gets followed home on a live stream and shamed into crying for mercy as her license plate is broadcast to an online horde eager to hound her out of a job. Everyone knows it can happen to them, so everyone shuts down. The circle of trust narrows. Conversations, too easily recorded, shift to encrypted messaging apps. For now. Until those get banned too for interfering in efficient social credit marketing. For some time, conservatives, recognizing that we're now the counterculture, indulged in the delusion that we could opt out of all of this. We'd send our kids to schools that don't teach all the woke stuff. We'd make our friends at church, not at work, and take comfort that trust and openness were still possible in communities of shared purpose. We'd vote our conscience because the ballot box was something no election could take from us. And if ever our political organizing were impeded by censorship, say by the big tech giants, heck, we could build our own platforms. But the left and the corporations are challenging all of this now. Your conservative social platform isn't worth much when Amazon can shut it down. Your vote may still be yours, but if your party is denied the means to effectively organize by corporate monopolies, it's not going to win. Your church, well, you can still attend for now, but go to the wrong church and you may not have a job in a few years. Here's the good news. The cancel culture agenda will only succeed if we let it. We need live in fear only if we choose to say nothing. In this time of testing, conservatives must not shrink back. We need to stand up for the right of every American to be heard. We need to stand up for the basic principles that join all Americans together, the right to speak freely, to debate openly, and to address our differences graciously without fear of being silenced or punished for dissenting views. I, for one, am not going to back down. My book will be published, and I will continue to represent the people in my state without fear or favor, whatever the left or the corporations say. The powerful see in the present moment an opportunity to consolidate their control over society and to squelch dissent. That means those who believe in the First Amendment and the fundamental principles of American liberty must now take a stand while we can. Nicely stated, Mr. Hawley. For years, we conservatives have had concerns about the erosion of certain constitutional provisions, from the Second Amendment to the Commerce Clause. We knew we'd be fighting for the... Who knew? Who knew we'd be fighting for the First Amendment? It's important to note something here. We don't just say we care about things like the Second Amendment or the First Amendment or anything else in the Constitution because they are traditional parts of America or parts of our history or something we like and that perhaps others here may not. We esteem and think such provisions are important because we think, A, they belong to everyone, and B, the Constitution is not just important but foundational, elemental, in organically making us who we are as a nation and a people. We are not an English-speaking Portugal. We are something different, a new order of the ages, we were told. This is perhaps the most important of points. We don't celebrate, honor, or protect the Constitution because it's just old or traditional. We do so because we think it makes us who we are. Now, of course, when you listen to the left, there almost seems a deliberate effort to unconstitute us, if you will, to unmake us. This is done or seen in many ways. Changing the date of our founding, adopting the Confederate view of our founding, making the study of our history more difficult, or revising it, eliminating conditions for citizenship, diminishing and vitiating our sovereignty, yielding us to global and international rules rather than our own, and, of course, rendering such constitutional guarantees we never thought controversial. For example, the use of the First Amendment for what is deemed conservative speech or speech backing conservative causes is now accepted as unprotected speech. I think I may be onto something here, something I haven't really read or heard elsewhere. What is at play is the effort to unmake America, unmake Americans, to, as I say, unconstitute us. The word constitution comes from the Latin constitutionem, and it means the act of settling, settled condition, anything arranged or settled upon. By looking into this, I've come to appreciate the new meaning of what I've spoken about in the past, about the crisis industrial complex or the agitation we are always put in. Another phrase, perhaps, for the Marxist phrase, permanent revolution, where nothing is settled. Most fundamentally and organically, our Constitution or founding, which is by definition what makes us who and what we are. And perhaps better the progressive movement in his 150th anniversary speech of our founding was all about when he spoke of the importance of our founding as having a finality, as he called it. And he said that finality was, quote unquote, exceedingly restful. Interesting to think about that, given the agitation and upsetting now of things we thought settled, or constituted, if you will. So we must, I think, look at a phrase I'm creating here, the great unconstituting. Maybe there's a book in that, I don't know. But I do see what the left is up to, and see what it is that they are doing, trying to unmake us, and thus, or as part and parcel, unmake this country. I don't think I'm being too extreme in that point. Once you revise our history and eliminate core features of our Constitution and, all the while, attempt to censor the study and learning about our founding, I don't know what else you would call this. This, if you agree, will or should be our focus for a few days or weeks or however long it takes. I'm Seth Leibson. We'll be right back.